Good morning, everyone. It's Rabbi Akiva Males, and I hope that you're well. Today is Friday. It's February 5th. We're getting ready for Parshas Yisro. Earlier this week, when I was looking at Divrei Torah that relate to the Parsha, I came upon an amazing Gemara in Masechet Zevachim, of all places, that relates to Parshas Yisro. Absolutely amazing Gemara. I want to share it with you. So listen to this. We know that there's a machlokas, that the Parsha begins by Yishma Yisro. There's a machlokas. When did Yisro show up? What did he hear? What made him join Bnei Yisrael? So we're all familiar with the fact, I would say it's the most common idea, that Yisro heard about the splitting of the sea, Kriyas Yam Suf, he heard about Mechemes Hamalek, the battle with Hamalek, and that's why he came, and that's the immediate juxtaposition. Last week in Parshas V'Shalach to now Yisro. There's another opinion that Yisro did not show up until after the giving of the Torah. So listen to this Gemara in Masechet Zvachim. The Gemara says as follows: Ketanai, it's actually a machlokas Tanaim. It says that Rabbi Yoshua says, what did he hear? What did Yisro hear that he came? Mechemes Hamalek Shama, he heard about that war, and that's the immediate juxtaposition. That was the end of Parshas B'Shalach. Rabbi Lazar Amadai, Rabbi Lazar of Madai, what did he say? Matan Torah Shama. He heard about the giving of the Torah, Har Sinai, and that's why Yisro shows up. Now listen to this. When the Torah was given to Bnei Yisrael, the sound, all the incredible noise and the sound of Hashem's voice and all the blasts, everything was heard from one end of the earth to the other. It wasn't just Am Yisrael, it wasn't just the Jewish people that heard these wild noises. Everyone heard this massive rash, this incredible noise. And it says, and all of the idol-worshipping kings, they were all seized with trembling in their palaces. Vamrushira, and because of this pachad, the fear that they felt, this compelled them to recite Hashem's praises. Shenamar, it's quoting a pasuk from Tehillim. It's a parak in Tehillim in Chaf Tes. It says, Uveheichalo kulo amer kavod, and in his palace, everybody proclaims glory. So again, the plain reading of that means it's talking about Hashem's palace. So they're darshaning that no, Veichalo means each king in his own palace, Klo Amer Kavod. They all started to sing glory, to sing Hashem's glory. And you'll see Rashi, if you look at the Hillim, Chavtes, Rashi quotes this Gemara about how to understand the end of that parak of Tehillim. Niskabtsu Kulametzim Bilam Arasha. So then all the kings, they said, we have to understand what all this noise is about. So they all gather, they join company with Bilam, because they know Bilam was this Navi, was this prophet, so to say, that had been given to the Ovdei Kochavim, to the idolaters, to try to guide them. So they know if they want to get some true guidance as to what's going on, they haven't been able to use any of their sorcery skills, so they go to Bilam to try to find out what's happening. So Amrulo, they say to Bilam, Ma kol hamon asher shamanu, what's this tumultuous sound that we've been hearing? Shema Mabu Balolam. Is there a flood? We have this ancient tradition that there once was a flood that God destroyed the world. Should we get ready for that again? We're hearing this incredible noise. So Bilam says to them as follows. Rather, they continue and they say, this is Pshat again in the Tehillim. It says, Hashem Lamabul Yashav. Maybe Hashem is returning to that idea of bringing a flood to the world. So Bilam says, no. Vayeshev Hashem Melech Liolam. Hashem sits enthroned as king forever. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God's already made a promise to mankind. He's not bringing another Mabul. So no more floods. You don't have to worry about this. So he continues and he says, the Gemara says as follows. So the king said to Bilam, okay, if it's not a flood, Ma kol ha'amon azesh shamanu. What is this incredible tumultuous sound that we heard? So Amar Lahem. So Bilam responds to all these kings. You should know God has a wonderful object that he loves and he desires in his treasure house. It's been hidden, it's been stowed away in Hashem's treasure house. Taf kuf ayin daled doros kodem shenivra olam. For 974 generations before the world was created. The commentaries go on, where does that number come from? But basically what that means is that before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, before Bereshis happens, Hashem composed the Torah and used the Torah as the blueprints for the world. So there was 974 generations before the world was created. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God composed his Torah. Ubikesh litna lebanav. And now, what's the noise that you heard? He's now sought to give it to his children, to Bnei Yisrael. Shenemar, because the pasuk says, Hashem oz la'amo yitain. God will give might to his nation, and the Torah is referred to as oz. Miyad, so immediately, what did these kings do? Paschu kulam v'amru, they all commenced and they responded to Bilam and they said, Hashem yavarech es hamo b'shalom. May Hashem bless his nation with peace. Absolutely amazing. When you look up Perek Chaf Tes in Tehillim, these psukim that they're referring to, it's striking. These are the last three psukim in that kapitel, in that paragraph, in that chapter of Tehillim. What are those three psukim? Let's read them together. In Chaf Tes, it's the last psuk, the last three, it's Tes Yud and Yud Aleph. Kol Hashem yecholel ayolos, the voice of the Lord will frighten the hinds, ve'yechsof yaros ve'cholo kulo mer kavod, and strip the forests. And now again, Pashup Shaz of ve'cholo, and in his temple, meaning Hashem's temple, everyone speaks to his glory. But the way the Gemara is darshaning is ve'cholo, each individual idol worshiping king in their own palace, kulo mer kavod, they all started singing Shira because they heard singing God's praises because they heard the sound of Matan Torah. Next pasuk, Hashem lamabul yashav. That's what they're saying to Bilam. Is God planning to destroy the world with another Mabul? And Bilam's response, Vayeshev Hashem melech liolam. No, God promised, he made a shavua that he's going to be king of the world forever. There's not going to be another destructive incident like the Mabul. Hashem oz lamo yitain. How do you understand this noise? God's giving oz. He's giving that strength, the Torah, to his people, to which they all respond. Hashem yavarech esamo b'shalom. If that's the case, he should bless his people with peace. Absolutely amazing way to darshan those last three psukim of that kapitel Tehillim. But then something hit me. I looked, how does this kapitel start? What is Chaf Tes? Chaf Tes starts, Mizmor LeDavid, Havu LaHashem b'nei Elim, Havu LaHashem kavod vos. This is the paragraph of Tehillim that we recite in shuls all over the world. When the Torah, when the Sefer Torah is being returned to the Aron Kodesh, on Shabbos and Yom Tov mornings. How amazing is this? When all of Klal Yisrael is surrounding the Torah, is escorting the Torah to the Aron Kodesh, this is when we recite this chapter of Tehillim that ends with these three psukim that are referencing to the shock, amazement, and the awe that the world had at the giving of the Torah, at Matan Torah. How amazing is that? That here are Chazal darshaning these last three psukim of this paragraph of Tehillim. And this is a paragraph we've been saying for year after year after year of our lives as the Torah is being carried back to the Aron Kodesh, and we as a community are showing it respect, love, and reverence. Now we're saying this chapter of Tehillim, and now there's another layer to this that you see that what's involved in this chapter. I found this absolutely amazing. You wonder almost, is this a coincidence? Did our Chazal notice? Did our ancestors notice? Perhaps, is this why they chose this paragraph of Tehillim to be recited specifically at that point? I don't know. But to me, it just seems way too coincidental to dismiss. And that gets me wondering, what else might be hidden in plain sight? What else might we be saying? What else might be part of our daily routines, our weekly routines on Shabbos and Yom Tov that have so many other layers to it, so much more significance that we may just not have noticed before? God willing, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should be Meir Einenu. He should open our eyes and lighten our eyes, that we should constantly strive and we should find numerous new levels of meaning and inspiration in our daily routines, because it's safe to assume our ancestors who set all of this up for us, they had good mind and they had good knowledge of so many different meanings and so many different layers that were there. And as we discover them, they can enrich our lives as well. Have a good Shabbos, everyone.